the overwhelming favorites.
Well, so Williams is the glue guy, right?
Yeah.
What we're susceptible to is that pick and roll with the athletic big. Like even if you go back and you look at when we played the Knicks, Simmons got busy on us with the pick and roll. He's a no name. So now you're talking about a guy that's been in the league a couple of years. He finally figured his role out. A coach pulled it out of him. Um, a lot of people are picking us because we have KD and Kyrie. Like let's not look at it no more than that. Because just like the Celtics are a new team as well. They made a major trade. It may not seem major, but that Derek White trade was very major for them in the continuity to make them gel.
Yeah, but it's
So
one piece though.
okay,
It's
now look
this
if we add Ben
that
Simmons.
four. Hold on. I want you to react to this.
Okay,
That four is Smart, Brown, Tom Lord, and even Horford. Horford has been there for a while when he plays, and and of course Tatum. So that's four dudes that's of solid continuity. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would agree, but it's a new coach and a new system. So yeah, they have familiarity with each other, but
True.
one key piece can shift the team one way or the other. And I'll look at it and take y'all back. Think about when the Pistons added Rasheed Wallace. That was one person. Made
Right.
them a championship. Made them a champion. So that's how you got to look at it. Look at the Bucks. They added Drew Holiday. That made them a champion. So I look at that and just say, I don't. For people to pick Boston, they have every right to pick Boston. They're the two seed. I don't care about injuries because that happens to everybody.
Right.
So unfortunately, we had the KD situation. Kyrie, that was self-inflicted. Harden is Harden. So I'm not gonna go to those two. But injuries, because we've watched KD win meaningful games with the kids. My thing is in this Boston series, and I think it was Bam who said it that LA needs to play. I totally agree with that. The reason why, put him on the low post. That's where he earned his bread and butter at every stop. You know what that does when you throw it in the post? You're gonna calm everybody else down. You're gonna put people in their right spots.
Right.
I also believe that you got to give Blake some spot minutes. The reason why, Tice is not a little dude. He's got a little girth to him. So you
I,
can't ask for Kessler
that's
to
too.
guard him.
Don't you think
Nah,
that's
it's
too?
not.
It's too. That's now you're talking about 11 dudes playing. I think
No,
that's
but
too
see,
many.
see, I think the issue is that he said nine prematurely. You don't know how a series is going to swing. So you're not going to play a person because in your mind you said nine. Maybe
Right.
maybe you play somebody like Kessler 1 minute, 2 or 3 minutes, and it don't look good. Oh, this might not be the series for him, and that's fine. But that's
Hmm.
part of coaching. You can't go in and say, "I'm just not going to do it." That hurt us last year. Now, as trash as DJ was in the effort, we know he gave none of that. But we needed a body last year. Even
I
even if he would have did something good for just 2 minutes out of 15 he played, that could have swung the game. We won't
Bam.
know because he went and premeditated that he wasn't going to do it.
You know what? That's fair. Bam. Why don't you while I not sure I agree with this with his points. Why don't you pile on? Where do you agree? You want to add on something to that? Because I know from our
Yeah, I mean,
conversations that this is something we've
me and
talked
him are
about.
on me and him are on the same page. I think, like, what does Kessler Edwards bring that outweighs Lamarcus Aldridge's value? This guy was like our third leading scorer. He played like a chunk of games. He was a big component of the team, and they've lost that. They've lost the pick and pop game. You know, with him. I mean, these teams that we play that have the Tysons of the world, there's matchups there for him. If we're lucky enough to get to Milwaukee, when we played Milwaukee the other night, there's no release valve that is a threat offensively, and he can pop into those 18-foot shots. And we need the scoring. We need more fluid in the offense. Putting the ball in the post, like Cool said, it also gets the defense to turn their heads. You can kick balls out for threes. You can do action away from the ball to set screens to try and free up your shooter. So I definitely want to see more variety.
Playing devil's advocate, what if, and I'm only saying this because this is my idea, I would unleash LMA in a series against the Bucks. When I think back to that Bucks series, he would have been perfect for that series. And in this particular series, I feel like you could stick to the Claxton Drummond pairing, rotation, or however you want to call it, and just go for it. I don't think the scoring drought that they go through is because of that they don't have enough scoring. I think it's because they just don't have anybody else that can actually move the ball and get them into sets. I don't think that's our two superstars' main mindset. But Sam, Bam. Could it be possible that they're just trying to save LMA for the Bucks?
I mean, that's flawed logic if they are, unless there's lingering effects of the injury I don't know about.
I think
he's ready to play. He's ready to play.
Let's say the guest is he's old, he's fragile, and he could be the difference maker in this particular series, and he doesn't really help us in this series.
They don't play him because they don't think he can help. That's one thing. If they don't play him because they're saving him, this team doesn't have the ability to think that way. They're not a lock to advance here. They have to get there first.
So, knowing all of those things, let's say that's all of that is accurate, Sam. You play in LMA, he's not cutting mustard. Where do you go from there?
I mean, it's funny. My general take, and maybe it's a little bit different, but I just think with a team like Boston, where they know everything that what they're doing, and I think the Nets are a team that are gonna go are basically what's the right saying are basically cooking as they go. Don't really know
they're freestyling.
Yeah, they're freestyling. Exactly, that's the word I was looking for. And given that's the case, I would honestly be throwing the kitchen sink at Boston and making them do a lot of thinking because this team, because the Nets barely know themselves, so why not also make Boston? And I think the issue that you see a lot of times, especially late in games, and we saw this especially in the KD Harden era earlier this year, was just how predictable the Nets offense got. And I've always maintained that in the playoffs, a lot of what I get more nervous about is their offense and not their defense. Because I think you've seen defensively especially if Simmons comes back, defensively they can actually get it going. But I don't know. But sorry, my voice started echoing. But anyway, they actually get it going, and but offensively, yeah, is where I think they just become very stagnant. Don't really know exactly what they're doing. Become super predictable, and that's where I'd also like to see the hockey subs. Get people in, get people out, get people in, get people out. Throw a lot of different things. Make Udoka have to think. I mean, this is Udoka's first playoff series. I would. You got to throw the kitchen sink. As Bam said, nothing is given. I mean, if you told me the Nets are going to lose this series in 6, I would believe it. The Celtics have been playing great.
Of course, I lose my headphones. My headphones go out right in the middle of you talking, Sam. But I did hear you. I'm now provisioning another pair of headphones. Excuse me. Sam, is if Nash had one fatal error that he's in terms of mistakes that he's made in the past, which one, if he made it again, would be the one that causes them to lose the series?
I think it's his. I think it's his lack of adjustments and keeping things going. Whatever his higher level philosophy is, and like what makes great playoff coaches is if they see something that they don't like, they scrap it, and by halftime they have something new cooked up. You see like guys like Ty Lue do that all the time, and so that's what I think we got to see. Like I think that KD covers a lot of what Nash does, and this is, I mean, look, they're going to have to go through really coaches during this playoff run. They're probably going to, if you go on the run that we all expect, you're talking about going through, Udoka and probably, Budenholzer, and then probably, Nick. It could be Nick Nurse, could be, what do you call it? The Spolstra. Like, these are real X's and O's guys who know what they're doing.
I gotta agree. I have to agree. Kool-Aid. Now that we're here, who's the person that's really in our way at Boston? Who is the person that's really? Is it Jason Tatum? Is he he's obviously the obvious choice, but who do we have to stop? And if we stop them, we win this series.
Okay, I'm going to answer that, but give me a second because Sam said something in BAM that I want to expand on that I don't think people are really even thinking about. So,
all right, go there.
So Horford and Tice both start for Boston. Are they now the starters? Is it Horford, Tice?
Horford starts.
Yes.
But I don't think they play Tice too, though.
Yeah, they start Horford, Tice, Brown, Tatum, and Smart.
Okay, even better then. That means we are the bigger team. So when they go to their bench, you can play LA. He's the biggest person. So they're going to put Williams on him. So now you're forcing them to keep one of their main players out on the court to waste them 40 minutes like we do KD and Kyrie. That'll pay dividends in the second half, in the fourth quarter. Because if we don't really expect to play LA maybe 15, 20 minutes, maybe, and you're keeping their starters out, now Claxton can play with him. Now you can actually run that action where Dragic is good with the lobs. He did that with Bam when they went to the finals on their final run. That's what he did. To me, Claxton plays the role as Bam when Dragic is on the court. Now, I know I'm jumping around because now I want to answer your question, but I just want to give people a little bit of thought that the Nets are actually the bigger team. We have about 4 or 5 7-footers. So we should be imposing our will with layups and dunks to get them in foul trouble. Will that happen? Probably not, because we're a finesse team. And that bothers me that KD takes jump shots at the dotted instead of taking one more step, leaning forward and getting the N1.
Yeah,
but
when people say, "Oh, the Nets get no calls," I cringe because it's because we're a jump shooting team. Jump shooting teams don't get calls. That's just the reality. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're 100% right. We put no pressure on the other team nor the refs to make the call. Now, our one person we have to really worry about, it to me, is Brown. We know Tatum is a superstar or a star, let me say that. So Tatum's going to get his. Do we allow Brown to get 25 or 30? That becomes the X factor, him. Because if he gets 20 and Tatum gets 30, that's 50. I'm not worried about that. That's a good number. If we can hold them two to 50, we should win this game. Because then you're telling me for them to get 120, 130 on us, that means Marcus Smart went off. That means Al Horford probably had 15 and 15. You know what I mean? Like, so to beat us, you're gonna have to score 120 or better.